Hello 826, I'm Bill, and I helped with the design of the walking house. I'm glad you guys liked the project, and I'm happy to answer your questions. How does it work on a rainy, cloudy, dark day? Well, on our roof, 24-volt batteries store up energy collected from the sun via a solar panel. One very sunny day can recharge the batteries. If our batteries are full, we could walk for 4 cloudy days, but only for 1 hour each day. Rain is trickier. Sometimes our feet get stuck in the mud. Please send us rain boots. Would it slip on ice? Nice question. The length and position of the legs is controlled by a computer and electricity from the batteries. So if it was on a hard, smooth surface, like ice, its feet might slip a little bit when they land, but it should still balance itself. Because we have 6 feet, 3 are always on the ground, and when we walk, like a camera tripod or a milking stool. 3 points define a plane, so it wouldn't slip like we do on 2 legs. The lower motors might have to work a little harder to keep the legs from sliding outwards and the house ending up on its belly. The feet, as you may have noticed, are wheels turned on their sides. The rubber could make a suction cup if it's sealed tight enough, but I think it's more likely that a few people, or a camp of kids, could slide it around with some pushing. Please send us ice skates. Water? We could probably walk in as much as a foot of water, since the electric parts are about 2.5 feet in the air. The real problem will be mud. Our feet could sink, and then we'd be stuck in a very wet situation. It doesn't know how to swim, and it wasn't built for pressurized environments like underwater. It'd be possible to build it more watertight, like a boat or a submarine, but it'd be heavier and more expensive. Similarly, if it was made of a lighter material than wood, like plastic or fiberglass, we could float in the sky with a large balloon. That would almost be easier than making everything watertight. These dreams are possible, but we're currently not built for it. We're not a water ship or an airship. We're an earth ship. Do you have a stove for heat? We have a wood stove to keep warm in the winter, and we've used it only in the summer on the rainiest of days. We're really well insulated here, and so it stays pretty cool inside. Insulation works both ways. This foam stuff on the walls is called closed cell polyethylene. It also keeps heat from getting in. It's important when you're in a black hexagon in the sun. We'd overheat, maybe even cook. Sun in the windows is the worst in the summer when you're trying to sleep in, so sometimes I have to wake up and spin the house so the light isn't hitting us. This has become almost automatic, like rolling over in bed or hitting the snooze button. We could cook things using the heat radiating from the wood stove. It gets burning hot, and you could definitely cook an egg on it. But because we don't gather wood very often, we usually use a little gas cooking stove. You might use camping or if you lived on a boat. This means that we have to get gas containers from a nearby town. If we were far away from any towns, we would run out of cooking gas, and the wood stove would be very useful. How do you lock up the house? This is very important, actually, because we're in a sort of a park called a booga garden. One requirement for something to feel like a house is for it to be a safe place for you and your stuff. The triangular windows on our ends swing open, but they can also latch tightly from the inside. Only one of the triangles in our kitchen is easy to climb through, and that's our door. And we can padlock that from the inside or the outside if we travel for the afternoon. How do you maintain your privacy? Living in a public space, we've had to get used to having a little less privacy. Since we're a walking artwork, in addition to a home, we're almost supposed to be on display. Everyone is curious about how we live and where the bathroom is. We do have curtains, but they're not always attached. We use sheets and strong magnets that attach to the metal vertices of the hexagon. How much weight can the house hold? I'm not sure about the exact number. My friend Sam might know, but we can walk around with 3 people on board and our luggage very easily. If it's not moving and all 6 feet are down, we could have a lot of friends over, but I'm not sure if a jam-packed dance party would be wise. It would be fun, but hard on the house's legs. Dance parties should occur outside. Then maybe the house can dance too, with an empty stomach. Do other people use the walking house? A couple other people have lived in it for a short period of time. There's one now. You begin to feel, we've lived in it for the longest duration of anybody so far. And you begin to feel a little bit like an experimental test subject. But it also feels like you get to grow older with the house. You remember that time it got covered in pollen, or the time it stubbed its toe real bad. We'll be living here until the end of the summer, and then it gets disassembled into 3 pieces, or modules, and shipped back to Denmark. It will be put back together again there, and someone else can live in it. Maybe you. You'll definitely need a lesson in walking the house first. Why would you live in a walking house? Well, why do you live in a house sitting in the ground with its butt underground? But we get a different view every day. Sometimes we look out over the river. Sometimes we hide in the woods. Sometimes we hang out in the field with the rabbits. And there's a lot of ants over there. We can spin it around to line up with the wind, like an air conditioner hooked up to a weather vane. You become very connected with the outdoors while being safe from all the elements. Like I mentioned, it's a little bit like living on a ship, and that feeling is very interesting on the mind. A small place makes you more aware of your body in space, and you have to be considerate of others, and it keeps you nimble, moving around up and down in our house. We have to get our own water for the sink, and our drain drips down to the ground below. This makes you aware of all your resources and where they come from and where they go. This makes you more likely to conserve them. I've begun to wash dishes differently, much differently here than in a house connected to city pipes, with water that seems endless. But I should probably be just as considerate there too. One nice thing is that you don't have to own land to travel across it. Since we don't settle down in any one spot, if people wanted us to go away, we could walk off the other direction very slowly. Oh yeah, it is fun. We have books and music and sometimes the internet thanks to satellites. And we have bikes and chairs to relax outside. And my friend Emily says, what do you say, Emily?
It's as fun as camping.
Just imagine what it's like to live in a big friendly robot bug.